morning. Got a little project this morning that I thought I'd do a video on. I'll admit, I'm not very good at keeping my saw blades clean. I use these things and I've kind of been inclined to throw them away when they get shitty and don't even screw with it. But recently I've kind of thought that rather than do that, I'll see what I can do to tune them up by cleaning them. And a lot of folks, there's a lot of videos and whatnot, solutions about how to clean them and what to use and what have you. So I thought I'd do a little experiment. So far I've done two things. I took some of my worst blades that were really nasty and I put two of them in this container here last night, and it's in mineral spirits. And I took two others and put them in this pan here and covered them with industrial purple. And I've used this stuff before for degreasing when I'm fabricating some metal steel work and what have you. And I'm going to tell you, this stuff takes all the crap off those blades like crazy. And I'm going to show you here in just a moment. These blades in the industrial purple have been sitting here all night. This one in particular was about the nastiest thing I've ever seen in my life. And you can still see it's got some junk right here. But on this side, it cleaned it up almost brand new. Still got a little bit of scrubbing to do on it. And for that I'm using a little brass bristled wire brush. This one over here also cleaned up pretty darn well. Got some, I think that's just rust on that. You can see the teeth are pretty clean. So it took all the pitch and crap and dirt off the teeth on both sides. Still got a little bit of cleaning to do to get that business off of there. So that's the industrial purple one. Over here is the ones I put in mineral spirits. And it didn't do a thing to these things. They sat in there all night. So what I'm going to do now, I've kind of concluded mineral spirits doesn't work, is one conclusion. And so I'm going to replace the mineral spirits with kerosene and put some other blades in there. I've got these that, as you can see, look pretty nasty. So I'm going to put those into kerosene, and then I'm going to put these over into the industrial purple. We'll do a little comparison. So that's what we're going to do, and we'll come back in probably an hour, a couple hours or so, and see how we're doing. This blade right here is one that you couldn't see earlier because it was covered under a couple of the other blades, but as you can see there, this has got some really nasty stuff, and this was in the mineral spirits all night long, and not much there at all. So what I'm going to do, and you can kind of see this, kind of weird, this industrial purple, I don't know if you can see it in the video or not, it's like it's bubbling. I put one of those blades in there for just a moment. I'm going to clean this out, dump out this industrial purple, and put some nice fresh stuff in there, and we're going to put that blade, that one, and that one in there, and then I'm going to put a couple of these in some kerosene. We're going to see how they compare in terms of getting that gunk off of there. By the way, I highly recommend using gloves when you're working with this industrial purple degreaser. It obviously says right on it to do that, but I found out the hard way once upon a time. I was using it to degrease some engine parts, and I was using it full strength, and I kind of rubbed my hand on it a little bit, and it will suck the moisture out of your hands for days. So definitely use some gloves of some sort. Okay, these have been in about an hour, a little over an hour actually, and I've been using my brushes here. This is the kerosene bath, and I've been using my brushes on both of them along as we've moved along here to just kind of help loosen up some stuff. And we made some great progress over here. If you can, this is the blade that was quite bad, and you can still see it's got some ways to go. You can see right there, still got some pitch and crap on those teeth that we need to get off. The other one is, I think, basically done. If you look at these teeth, those are pretty darn clean and turned out quite good. We'll turn it over here. There's a little bit in there that I might try to get, but for the most part, that one's turned out quite good. Now these over here in the kerosene bath, really not so much. There's still a lot of pitch around. This is one I've been using quite a bit lately, and you can still see a lot of pitch and gunk around those teeth. So we need to work on that. If I'm gonna, after a bit, I think I'm gonna move this one over to the industrial purple bath and see how that does. Okay, I think we're done here. And these are what I wound up with. This is a blade that I use the most, and it cleaned up pretty well. And because it was actually starting to burn, I don't know if you can tell, got it pretty well cleaned up around there, on all the gunk off of there. Also, not sure you can tell, I'll try to get a shot down the gullets there, if you can see. We got those all cleaned out as well, and any gunk off of there. Let's see if you can tell that anyway, but those are all cleaned up. This blade here was probably the worst looking of the bunch. That was one we looked at earlier, and this is a laminate and non-ferrous metal blade, and it cleaned up reasonably well, and I at least got most of the junk off of the teeth, so that should be okay. This blade is kind of an interesting tooth. I don't know if you can tell or not, but every other tooth is basically ground as a kind of a triangle. You might be able to tell it right there on, for example, this tooth right here is flat ground, and this one right behind it you can see is kind of ground in a triangle fashion. The top's flat, but the sides are ground off, and then a flat one. So that one's for laminates and what have you. I've never used that one. That one came with an old Unisaw that I bought. This one was probably one of the worst, quite frankly. This thing turned out perfect. So anyway, all these turned out pretty darn well. Bottom line is, I would highly recommend cleaning your blades with Zep Industrial Purple. This stuff just almost melts the junk off the blade. And I have some in kerosene, not so much. Now there might be other stuff out there too, but for my money, since I had this stuff and I didn't have to go buy anything, this Industrial Purple really did the job. Anyway, I hope this little comparison was helpful for some of you folks out there. Again, I cleaned up my blades real nice. I've obviously got too many ripping blades, that's for sure. So anyway, I've got them all cleaned up. Plus, it kind of forced me to go through my inventory of blades and pitch a few of them. But what I've got left over here, I think is going to serve me just well for what I need. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Send me any comments, and we'll certainly do our best to answer every single one of them. Take care.